This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, UnclefOOlio, and I am back, ladies and gentlemen. I am back, and we're going to discuss some RJ Barrett today here on the live episode of the Kontroversy. I have a special guest that I want to introduce, and we're going to discuss and debate this issue. But first and foremost, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, Nothing But Knicks. We've got some great content coming for you as the season gets closer. Content from the Queens Court, Knicks and Bruises, a brother channel that we're going to put some content out on. And, I got a special announcement that I want to make at the end of this video. For those who are fans of the Kontroversy or definitely have a lot to say, I got a special announcement that I'm going to put out there before this video is over. But without further ado, I'm going to like to introduce my special guest. He is the host of the No Life podcast, a long-time content creator or a content creator for, Knicks podcast or what have you, long-time contributor. I want to introduce first and foremost to the one, the only, HadukenSharon. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for HadukenSharon. What's going on, my brother?
I'm good. I appreciate you for having me. Shout out to Sim and you guys for creating this platform. I appreciate you guys. This is gonna be a good show, 100%.
Absolutely. And I know this is very much a hot topic that we've been discussing for about the past couple days now. Twitter's on fire. Mostly upset at me. I got to admit, yeah. people hate my RJ takes. I'm already the most controversial one. However, we're going to discuss this a little bit more as we wind up and start getting close to the season. So, Haduken, the topic of this video and the topic of this discussion is going to be RJ Barrett will be an all-star in 2021, 2022. So we're going to talk a lot about RJ Barrett. Who do we compare him to as far as players that are currently in the NBA, his trajectory, so to speak, and what are our expectations for RJ Barrett as the season, goes forward? So first and foremost, I want you to give a little introduction, let everybody know how you feel about RJ Barrett in his first 2 seasons, and what do you think about what he's done so far?
I've been a big fan of RJ. I've known him since he was in Montverde. I started to become a bigger fan of him in Duke. I really liked him throughout the years, 100%. And right. When we didn't get that first pick, you see, like, everyone's initial reaction, you're gonna get mad. But then I realized that RJ's gonna drop to that 3rd. I was actually really happy. I'm a big fan of RJ. I think he has a lot of potential, in my opinion. And my goal for him before the draft was All-Star year 3. And I really think that he could be at least a fringe All-Star this year and season coming up.
Well, what do you mean fringe All-Star? You gotta elaborate on that. What do you mean by that?
Like, I mean, at least in the conversations, like he's gonna be talked about to get some votes for that All-Star game, because last year obviously he didn't get any, but he got like a most improved vote. But I really think this is the year where he's actually gonna take that step that we all wanted him to do.
Right. I got you. And listen, I don't have any objection to that. I think RJ Barrett can definitely take the next step into becoming an all-star. I think a lot of times when we talk about RJ Barrett, people get on their feelings about it because, and I said this, I'm on the record by saying this. It's either damned if you do or damned if you don't with RJ Barrett, right? You can either say that RJ Barrett, is expected to be an all-star this upcoming season. Whoa, no, you're putting too much pressure on the kid. He's only this age, blah, 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 blah. Let him continue to grow naturally and all this and that and all that jargon. They want to defend him and protect him from, the expectations of becoming an all-star. And then on the other hand, you have the people that say RJ Barrett is not ready yet. He's not ready to be an all-star yet. I don't think he's at that level. Oh, you're just an RJ hater. You hate RJ Barrett. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. So I'm on the record by saying, listen, which one do you want? It's either you want RJ Barrett to be an all-star or you want him to continue the course. So, if you don't think he's going to be an all-star, you can't call someone a hater for not thinking he's going to be an all-star. There's so many things that go into it. So That's just been always been my thing. So, I'm not sure how you feel about that.
Well, I mean, I know that you said like at the end of the last show that you think he's gonna be an all-star, but the thing is, like, the things coming up to that, like, that is like the final thing you said. But before that, you're like, okay, I don't know. I think he's gonna be like the fourth offensive option on the team. If he's not gonna become an all-star this season, we should trade him for another guy so he could play alongside Randall. But
Right.
when you say things like that, you also got to put into account that Giannis is gonna run the East for a while, and you still got KD, Harden, and Kyrie right across the bridge. You
Right.
can't just trade RJ for another guy. If, in my opinion, no matter who we add, like that one player, like if it's like people want to trade him for Dame, people want to trade him for Simmons, like you want to trade him for Simmons, you're not getting past any of those teams. So you might as well wait till RJ hits his prime, which is in 5 years, or just let him grow up slowly and continue to develop him. Let Tibbs run him under his wing, and then that's where you can actually get past that second and third round and possibly get into that finals game.
So you don't think the Knicks have a chance of beating any other team if they get another all-star to play with Julius Randle? See, that's the negative approach right there, because one can argue. So you can say, you never know who's going to win in the playoffs, right? All it takes is one good run. As long as the Knicks are in the conversation, a lot of dominoes have to fall. But you can't just say out of nowhere, if the Knicks get another all-star, they're not going to compete with Brooklyn. I think that's irresponsible, don't you think?
No, because I really think it depends on the player. Because, for example, like if we talk about Dame, you get Dame, he's 32 years old. He's like towards the end of his prime. You get him at Randall, and you have like a 5-year window. And that 5-year window, you still got all those other old players in Brooklyn who are also going to start ending towards their retirement. And you got the Bucks. The Bucks are a powerhouse right now. Who knows what's going on with Philly, and Miami is starting to build up. So I really don't think it's responsible to trade RJ right now, instead of waiting a little bit more to see what he can become. I just think that's not fair to him and not fair for the team in itself. I think it would be a really big mistake if we let that happen.
One thing I can say, if RJ Barrett turns out to be this all-star player and this player that takes the next step into that level where he's a bucket and the Knicks can depend on him to get that bucket, that go-getter, I think he is untradeable. But if he does not necessarily regress, but just become a fourth option or a player that is more of a complementary piece, he's not untradeable in my opinion. And I'm not saying actively go out and shop RJ Barrett. That's not what I'm saying at all. I like RJ Barrett's game. I respect what he brings to the table. There's definitely some improvements that need to be made. And we're going to look at the numbers and we're going to talk about the numbers and such. Yeah. But if RJ Barrett doesn't take that next step to becoming an all-star, and there's a trade available where we can go get that guy to play along Julius Randle, that can be that bucket getter for Julius Randle. I mean, if he's not to the level of that player, I don't know how you can say RJ Barrett is untradeable. So that's just the way I feel about it. I'm not actively pushing him out there. I know, Knick fans love him. This guy's like the baby. He can't do anything wrong. You guys know it. He can go, poop outside of Madison Square Garden on the sidewalk, and people will go clean it up for him. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I get that's the dynamic with RJ Barrett, but I just feel like we're being a little irresponsible if we don't understand that point. And that Leon Rose in the front office is also thinking about the same thing. RJ Barrett may be looking for a contract coming up, right? Are they willing to offer him that money? So I think this is stuff that we need to think about without losing our heads here and not thinking everyone's a hater of RJ Barrett. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, like it really depends on the person. Like if you're saying like, let's say like Luka or like a guy in that trajectory, you're obviously gonna do it. That's like a no-brainer. Like for me, it really depends on the player it is. I'd rather it be for someone that's like younger that you already know is really good. I don't want to trade him for an older person. Like in general, I don't want to trade him at all. Like I hope he's like a Knicks for life type of guy.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, nah, but really, like I think it depends. Like the Ben Simmons one, like you said, I don't know. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. You said 3 first-round picks and RJ for Ben Simmons.
Hold on, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get into that Ben Simmons thing because people just think I wanna go out and get Ben Simmons, at all costs, which is not the case at all. People are framing that, to make a narrative about, I'm an RJ hater. But we're gonna discuss that a little bit later. All right.
All right.
But what we will talk about is we're gonna discuss RJ Barrett's first 2 seasons. I'm gonna pull them up on the screen. I'm going to read to you guys what the numbers are. What RJ Barrett's numbers are his first 2 seasons in the NBA. So obviously in his rookie year, he averaged 14.3 points per game, 5 rebounds even, 2.6 assists, shot 40% from the field, 32% from three, with a free throw percentage of 61.4 in his rookie season. Obviously, this is under David Fizdale. People have, their complaints about David Fizdale and how he ran the Knicks, the team, and how he was laughing on the sideline when we're down by 40. Which part of it was the hand that he was dealt. I think the front office has a lot to do with that. But in regards to RJ had a pretty, I would say, decent first season as a rookie, coming into the NBA. And then transitions into last year, which was his sophomore year, 17.6 points per game, improved his rebounds by 0.8, so 5.8 rebounds per game, improved his assist total by 0.4 at 3, improved his field goal percentage from the field by 4%, 44%, improved his three-point field goal percentage at 40.1, and improved his free throw percentage at 74.6, right? So these are obviously numbers that show a lot of improvement in his jump shot. I know he didn't start off that well during the regular season, but during the second half of the season, he just caught fire and became someone that was really reliable to knock down some jump shots. All right, so I just want you to discuss how you feel about that and RJ Barrett's trajectory. What do you think?
I think that first year was I don't think it was the best year, of course. I think it was a solid rookie season. To me, it's still crazy that he got snubbed off the all-rookie team because I think he should have at least made that second team. Look at Terrence Davis. He's getting traded for second-round picks in his second year playing. I just think that it was disrespectful for that to happen in general. His three-point shot was bad. Drew Hanlon, his trainer that's been working with him since like 14, 15, said that the training staff actually changed his jump shot during training camp from what they practiced. That's why he really shot bad that season. And then you convert to the second season, and the main things that we wanted RJ to get better at, he got better at tremendously. We wanted him to get better with that shooting. He went up from 32% to 40%. And for someone in college that was said that it's going to be very difficult to make threes in the NBA, he did it in his first 2 seasons at the age of 20. He's averaging 18 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and his field goal also went up to 44%. And then you look at his free throw, it went up from 61 to 74. And I think that's really a drastic increase. And I feel like people don't give him enough credit that he deserves.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think there was a snub his rookie season in regards to the all-rookie team. I think there was some foolishness there. I think he did deserve to make it. A lot of the other guys that were on that list, definitely were not up the type of player that RJ Barrett is. However, I do think there's you could make an argument that his rookie season was a little bit disappointing as a number 3 pick in the draft. There was a little bit of higher expectations for him. Now, Knick fans, I guess, the Fizdale thing, you don't want to, you give a pass to RJ Barrett because he had David Fizdale coaching him. I personally don't do that. I don't think it's on David Fizdale. I think it's more on RJ Barrett as the top 3 pick in the draft to be a better player. But, it's a rookie season. He still has a whole career ahead of him. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. About the rookie season, I know like a lot of people were blaming it on Fizdale and stuff like that. But if you look at RJ Barrett in high school and college, he played a lot with spacing, and he came into a team that had one of the worst spacing in the league. He came into a bad situation, and I don't know, we expected him to do a lot better, but he didn't have the amount of space he needed in order to get the shots he wanted. And I definitely think he could have scored a lot more if we had the spacing we're going to have this year. Compared to this year, we got players that can spread the floor. We don't have a point guard that is just going to dribble it up the court and not look at you to pass. He only got his eye on the rim, and he's going to put up whatever he has. I think that was a big factor into him having a solid rookie year. And I do think it was disappointing as well. I can't, nobody can say it was a really good rookie year. I think it was a solid one.
I got you. And moving into his second year, some of those same questions definitely applied, right? Not having a true point guard that can drive. Had a different coach in there with a different mentality. The team was much more defensive oriented. Knicks were top 5 in defense for the majority of the year. And RJ Barrett definitely took a step up in regards to his shooting. Now, he started off very, very slow. And listen, I was on record by saying, RJ, what's going on? Like, this is your second year in the NBA. Your shot has not improved yet. You're still airballing threes, wide open 3-pointers. Like, what's going on with that? He still was doing a lot of the little things. He still was rebounding. He still was, playing some solid defense. Not great, but solid defense. So I had to give him a little bit of a pass. But in the games that he didn't show up, I definitely made it known. RJ, what's going on? Like, there's no reason why you should, be doing the same mistakes that you made the previous year. So second half of the season came along. RJ Barrett's jump shot improved, right? Guy was reliable to knock down those shots from three, which definitely shocked everyone. And everyone says that I'm eating my words now about RJ Barrett. But yeah. I just was holding them accountable. That's all I was doing. I'm not an RJ hater, guys. Stop it with the nonsense. I appreciate what he did. So, what do you think about his second season and that step up, from terrible first half to a really good second half?
He started off 0 for 21 from 3. And then he went like 3 for 30 from 3, which is crazy. And he still ended up with 40% from the 3. Like, just imagine if he just hit at least a few more shots. But the thing that threw me off about what you were saying is that you were saying to put him on bench at that point. And you weren't saying just get minutes with the bench. You were saying we should probably bench him and try to get his confidence back up. It was something in that type of way, the way you made it sound like a while ago.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's not what happened, okay? What happened was I thought that the bench, particularly with Emmanuel Quickly there, Derrick Rose wasn't there yet. But with Emmanuel Quickly there and Alec Burks, I felt like those guys pushed the pace a little bit. And Obi and Kevin Knox, they actually pushed the pace. And I felt like it would have been, a good thing for RJ Barrett to try to get out in transition a little bit more. And that's the reason why I wanted him to get some minutes with the bench, and potentially try to get a little bit more confidence, because you can tell during that first half of the season, he was losing a lot of confidence. So what I wanted him to do was go to the bench, being that the best player on that bench squad, and actually, get some minutes there. I didn't want to lower his minutes. I thought the argument about RJ Barrett playing too many minutes was a false argument, because, that doesn't mean anything. But him going to the bench, still playing the same amount of minutes, having that one guy on the floor, that sixth man, so to speak, that definitely would have gave the team a spark. And at the time, the bench wasn't doing so well, right? We didn't have the bench, scoring all the points. So I thought that would have been a boost for the bench as well. Obviously, it was unnecessary because the bench started stepping up a little bit. We were able to get Derrick Rose in the midseason trade. That definitely boosted up the bench a little bit. And RJ Barrett started knocking down his shot. So it was more unnecessary than anything. Benching RJ Barrett didn't necessarily mean I don't want him to play, because he was leading the NBA in minutes. So I don't not want RJ Barrett to play. I just thought it would have been a good thing for the team at the time to get probably a little bit of a change and a change of scenery for him. But it was unnecessary, and we didn't need to do that anymore. And I still stand by what I said though.
Okay, I guess it is what it is now. But he did start off really bad from shooting wise. Like you say, he lost confidence, but I don't really think he lost confidence because Tibbs kept telling him to shoot that 3. No matter what, like he was on that bad streak, and Tibbs told him, keep shooting no matter what. Once you start hitting, you're going to start getting on a hot streak, and you're going to keep your confidence up. And that's exactly what he did. Like he went 0 for 21 and then 3 for 30. But after that, he started shooting like 40+%, like each month. It just kept going up, crazy paces. And like the minutes part that you were talking about, I would say his minutes weren't like crazy in some points, but then like coming up to that Mavs game where he was questionable with his right ankle, he did not miss a single game, and he was playing with that the second half of the season. So
right.
When Burks was out, especially, like how Tibbs is. Tibbs makes his rotation less. So RJ was playing like 40-something minutes every single game after that while he was injured. We didn't put in a sub. We didn't do anything of that. So I think towards the end of that season, like I would say like the last 20 games is when his feet were actually like starting to drag him down.
I totally agree with you. And, I'm glad RJ Barrett took that next step, another step in his progression to get better. But, expectations are there. You're the third pick in the draft. So I stand by what I said about RJ Barrett. I have no problem with, defending that. But obviously he got better, and we want to see him to continue to get better. But moving on to the next thing, I want you to tell everyone who you think RJ Barrett can, the level that he can get at. What level do you think RJ Barrett can reach this upcoming season? And who do you really compare him to as far as players in the NBA that you think he can reach that level?
Like I was kind of saying a little earlier, I think my expectation for this season, my hope is fringe all-star or all-star. Like the All-Star would be crazy if it happens. I would be really happy if that happens. I think it's definitely possible though. Like we're gonna show it later on, but it's not a person I say his game is kind of near to, but I would say it's someone that had a high expectation coming in from Duke as the third pick in the 2017 draft, who's Jason Tatum.
Right.
He came in, he didn't score as much as people thought. Uh, Josh is about to pull it up in a little, but he scored like 13 points his rookie season. He actually had really good efficiency though. He shot like 10 shots per game. They still had Kyrie at that point. And then the next season, kind of when Kyrie was injured, he was averaging like 15 points. RJ, on the other hand, he averaged 14 in his rookie, and then he went up to 17 and a half. Like my point with this is that if RJ had a different name per se, like if RJ was Jason Tatum, I think he would be getting a lot more love from fans, and he would be getting a lot more love around the NBA. But since it's RJ Barrett, and since the team he's on, that's why a lot of hate is put on him. And I'm gonna stand by that. I know you're gonna have a different opinion about that last point I said, but that's really how I feel.
Well, yeah, we're going to talk about that. But first, let me pull up Jason Tatum's numbers. And this is the numbers his rookie and sophomore season. So Jason Tatum, as a rookie, 13.9 points per game, 5 rebounds, about an assist and a half, shot 47.5% from the field, 43.4% from three, and shot 82.6% from the free throw stripe. Okay, moving into his sophomore season, improved 15.7 points per game, improved 6 rebounds, improved 2.1 assists. Field goal percentage went down a little bit. 45% from the field. 3-point field goal percentage went down a little bit, 37.3, but his free throw percentage improved at 85.5. So just to talk about these a little bit, obviously, we're comparing Jason Tatum's first 2 rookie years to RJ Barrett's first 2 rookie years. And yes, I do think the numbers are very, very similar. However, I think Jason Tatum's role increased exponentially as Kyrie Irving was leaving town, and Kyrie Irving was missing his games or whatever the case may be, and Tatum pretty much took over that team. Tatum was a bucket getter, no doubt about it, in his first 2 seasons, and he was taking more shots. Yeah. So I think as his shots increased, that's why you see some of the percentages dwindle down a little bit. However, he's still shooting almost 40% from three. Still a pretty good field goal percentage from the field. I think that you could make the comparison between RJ Barrett and Jason Tatum, but obviously Jason Tatum was always a bucket getter. There was no question about Jason Tatum's ability to score, that you can give Jason Tatum the ball at the end of games for him to close for you. And I think we've seen that early on with Jason Tatum. RJ Barrett, so to speak, I don't really see that yet. I think he's still learning how to do that. Last season, I feel like the only game the Knicks really depended on RJ Barrett to go out and get a game time, a game-winning bucket was the game against Miami, right? Where he took Jimmy Butler off the dribble to his left and missed the layup. And I was like, finally.
And the Rockets. He did it against the Rockets.
Well, yeah, but that Miami game was the first one that I seen. I was like, finally, they finally given RJ Barrett the ball for him to go out and win us a game. The times before that, it seemed like RJ Barrett would turn the ball over, or there would just be some mishaps or whatever the case may be. So, or the ball just went to Julius Randle, right? Julius Randle was the person to close the game out for us. So to me, I think that's what RJ Barrett needs to do to go to that next level. Be that closer. Sometimes you don't have to play within the flow of the offense. Sometimes if you're a baller, your basketball game is going to take over and you're going to be better than what that offensive play tells you to do. Right, you're going to be better than that. Yeah. Your offensive game, and that's the level I think RJ Barrett needs to get at to be like a Jason Tatum. What do you think about that?
I agree with you 100%. Like, I'm not saying like RJ is literally like the same type of player as Tatum. Like, that's not really to show like they have the exact same play style, because they have different people around them. The way they started out was completely different. Tatum went into a good situation with spacing that he needed, but RJ came into one of the worst situations he had to. So it is kind of hard to differentiate them, but that's just showing how one person gets a lot more love. I know that he obviously gets buckets more in a different way, like you could see it a little, but that's also because he had the opportunity to do that. I don't think RJ really had too much. Like, we're not gonna have Randall get traded or anything like that. I don't want Randall to get traded, but he's not gonna be the number one option just like that. Jason Tatum had his own, like, Kyrie leaving to Brooklyn to be able to show that.
I mean, listen, I agree with you, but again, I just feel like if you're a baller, you're a baller, right? You know, we tend to make these, I don't want to say excuses, but make up these narratives that, you know, that everyone's against the Knicks, right? People are looking at the Knicks at a certain kind of way, and I just don't agree with that. I don't agree that, you know, there's this big conspiracy of people against the Knicks. If you win games and you become, you know, good and, you know, you'll get respected. I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If you're not good, then, and, you know, you're not going to be respected. So I think that's simply what it comes down to. This whole thing about a Knick bias, I just frankly don't agree with. We've seen it last season. The Knicks won some games. They won 41 games. They got to the fourth seed, and we start to get respect a little bit, right? But, you know, fans took that to the next level, and, you know, we want Brooklyn. We want Brooklyn. You know, I just think that was a little bit premature and a little bit irresponsible. But I understand we were a little bit excited. We definitely love to play for my team. They played defense. They played hard. But we still was missing some things. And obviously, Julius Randle and RJ Barrett didn't show up in the playoffs either, so that didn't help. All right. But, you know, I definitely think RJ Barrett could reach the Jason Tatum level if things work out in that direction. And I'm going to talk about a little bit later why he could or why he won't. So we're going to discuss that. But here's a player that I think is also intriguing that I can compare RJ Barrett to, right? And I'm not saying he's going to become this player. I'm just saying that, you know, this player had some similar first two seasons, right? Played really well, was a part of a young squad, and he was considered one of the best players on that young squad, the best younger players on that squad, and the team wound up keeping him. And I'm talking about Kyle Kuzma, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we all know what happened the last two seasons with Kyle Kuzma. LeBron got there, the production went down. But in the first two seasons, I want you guys to look at these numbers here, right? This is what Kyle Kuzma was doing his first two seasons in the NBA. As a rookie, 16.1 points per game, rebounds 6.3, 1.8 assists per game, shot 45% from the field, shot 36.6% from three, and had a free throw percentage of 70.7. That was his rookie season, right? Sophomore season, 18.7 points per game. There's an improvement there. Rebounds took a little bit of a dip at 5.5. Assists, 2.5 assists per game. So that went up a little bit. Shot 45.6% from the field, around the same. 3-point percentage went down to 30.3. But his free throws also improved at 75.2. Now, the reason why I want to bring up Kyle Kuzma is because the numbers are very similar to what RJ Barrett did first two seasons, right? You know, and on top of that, if you think about it, at the time, the Lakers had a bunch of young players. We're talking Brandon Ingram. We're talking Josh Hart. Julius Randle was there for a little bit of time. You know, these are the baby Lakers that we're talking about. You know, Kobe's last year. You know, God rest his soul. The baby Lakers, right? All of a sudden, LeBron gets there. He goes there in free agency, and the Lakers decide to make some trade. And Lonzo Ball, how can I forget about him? Lonzo Ball was there as well. And then, you know, they make the trade to get rid of most of those guys to bring in Anthony Davis from the Pelicans, right? But there was a reason why Kyle Kuzma stayed around. There was a reason why Kyle Kuzma was the one out of all of those players to still have a spot on the Lakers, right? Because of the potential. Everyone's seen the potential in Kyle Kuzma. Now, you can blame it on LeBron James. You can say it's because they got LeBron that the production went down. You know, you can say it was a multitude of factors. Maybe he just regressed as a player. But the reason why I bring up Kyle Kuzma is because not only are the numbers the same for RJ Barrett in the first two seasons, but the Knicks are now a little bit of a better team offensively. Right? So there is a possibility where RJ Barrett won't have the same numbers. There is a possibility where RJ Barrett becomes the fourth option, so to speak, because you have a Kemba Walker, and let's hope that he's healthy, and you have an Evan Fournier behind Julius Randle. So that is a possibility there, right? And I want people to understand that, you know, the season can go one of two ways for RJ. Either those players that the Knicks brought in can help him improve his game, or those players that the Knicks brought in can, you know, basically be the second and third options on this team, and RJ Barrett can be a really good fourth option. Either way, for the Knicks, I think it works out. But I think people should at least consider, you know, the latter. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I see where you're coming with that comparison. And the part about like LeBron coming in, it definitely did decrease his production, but it's also because those 2 years, the first one especially, it was him. I'm pretty sure Randall was there the first. Yeah, him, Randall, Lonzo, all of them, Ingram, whatever, Josh Hart, Jordan Clarkson. Like they were basically like free roaming. They were doing whatever they want. He was one of the main bucket getters that year. Ingram didn't come in to his own until that second year, where he averaged like 16 points. So he was going off. He was actually. This is like where I would say like a lot of people during this time, especially Lakers fans, were comparing Kuzma to Jason Tatum and saying that he's better than him.
Absolutely, I do remember that. Yep.
He was scoring more. He was putting on more of a show than him too. Like he looked better than him at that point. I wasn't one of those that thought that, but it was definitely going around a lot. And the reason why I think the Pelicans didn't take Kuzma and why the Lakers kept Kuzma instead of Ingram is because I think that they thought that Kuzma long term can be like a better defender than Ingram and the better rebounding for them. Because if they do get AD and if they do get LeBron, obviously, which they did the following season, they have someone who can be like a 3-and-D for them that could hit a few shots. But he really wasn't doing too much of that the season after. And I think that was the best situation for Ingram, to be honest. I think if he stayed with the Lakers, he would not have been an all-star. So this is where you take situation into account.
I got you. But, again, like I explained to you, I think, there's nuance to everything, right? So we got to treat RJ Barrett the same way. There's going to be a lot of nuance this season. There's still a lot that we have to figure out. Is Kemba Walker going to be healthy, right? That's a big part of what the Knicks are going to do this season. If Kemba Walker's not healthy, I think we're back to square one as far as not having a starting point guard. So would that affect RJ Barrett's game? That's what everyone always says about, Elfrid Payton's the point guard. If RJ Barrett had a better point guard, he'll be much better. But now the Knicks have that point guard. And, if he's healthy, is that going to affect RJ Barrett in a positive or negative way? If he's not healthy, how would that affect RJ Barrett? So, it's a lot of nuance to this conversation. I don't have an issue with any of it. I think the Knicks are going to be fine either way. I think the offense is going to be a little bit better, a little bit more fluid and thorough. And listen, I'm going to say it right now. I believe RJ Barrett's going to be an all-star, right? But with me saying that, I'm going to hold him to all-star expectations. So if he's shooting poorly or if he's not playing up to those all-star expectations, I'm going to call him out on it. Just like the same way I did last year, right? Same way I did last year. Because guess what? If RJ Barrett was more consistent in the beginning of the season, he might have been an all-star last season, right? Yeah. Don't you think so?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean 100%. Like we were saying before, like with the team-wise, like he obviously could have had a bigger role. Like he was the second option. Like no matter what anyone says, he was legit the second option. And then D Rose came in, and it was kind of like split, I would say, but I would still say overall he was the second. There was a lot of games where, or I would say like a handful of games where he would go off, and you would see that he's getting buckets on his own. But then he wouldn't get the ball again after Randall takes the shot for say, or something like that. Like I think that if he was allowed to do that a little more, I think we would have seen that 19 points per game, that 20 points per game. But it also had to do with the lack of like offense in our team in general, especially that first our starters. Payton is one-dimensional, and then Bullock is one-dimensional on the offensive side. And then when you get someone like Kemba and Fournier, that opens up a lot more for both of them. Like that's why, like when we go ahead and talk about regressing or increasing, I don't really see the regressing side too much.
Okay, I understand, and I think that's fair. Again, I don't think it's gonna be a regression either. But let me just highlight this comment from my boy Ramrock. He said Josh is the biggest pessimist I've ever seen. I just said RJ Barrett's going to be an all-star. How am I pessimistic? How am I the pessimistic one? I just literally said that he's going to be an all-star. Like, I mean, I don't get it. Like, why am I the RJ hater? Why are people painting me as the guy that hates RJ Barrett?
It's the past things you said that lead up to, and not just what you're saying about the all-star stuff.
But the past things I've said have been true. RJ Barrett wasn't playing well, and I expected him to play better. He wasn't, so I gave it to him. I don't understand this is New York, people. New York. This is New York City. What happened to us? We used to be a town that told the truth about players. If the team stink, and we called them out, guys. We can't defend bad play. We can't defend mediocrity. Come on, guys.
You got an issue you need to diffuse.
I mean, come. I mean, listen, look, I like RJ Barrett. Again, I have to stress, I really do like RJ Barrett. Okay, but if he ain't playing well, he ain't playing well, guys. You got to have an allegiance to the team, not to one particular player. Okay, I mean, so But anyway, listen, I think it can go either way. It can go one or two ways. RJ Barrett can take the next step up. He can take the next step up and not be an all-star. I think that's still a positive too. I'm not saying he has to become an all-star in order for him to be untradeable. But he has to be someone who can be a scoring option or someone that is, a bucket, right? Someone that's a bucket. And I know people are going to say, well, you say you wanted to trade him for Ben Simmons, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that.
I think there's a difference, with the Ben Simmons thing. But before we talk about that, I'm going to highlight something else here about RJ Barrett.
Okay.
And this is a stat that a lot of people don't realize. Now, we're talking about offense, but now we're going to talk about his defense. According to this, RJ Barrett had a better defensive field goal percentage, 43.1, sorry, last season than Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, Lou Dort, Miles Turner, Bam Adebayo, Zion Williamson, and Marcus Smart. So this obviously, when Knicks fans see that, oh my goodness, RJ Barrett is a really, he's better than those guys.
No.
Hold on.
Yeah, don't get too out of control with that.
Yeah, just I think it is an important stat, him on defense. I think if he does become more of a two-way threat, like a defensive stopper, then that's another thing that, can really, for me to say RJ Barrett's untradeable, he would definitely have to improve on the defensive side of the ball. I've seen a lot of times last season when he was just getting beat, like, he wasn't guarding the Jimmy Butlers of the world, not that well. He wasn't guarding Hamidou Diallo in Oklahoma City. He got torched that game. So there's a lot of things RJ Barrett could improve on the defensive side of the ball. But Hadouken, what do you think about that stat I just put up on the screen?
Well, the reason I bring that stat up is just because that's just another factor of RJ that I think we're going to see more of this season. Because when you lose someone like Reggie Bullock, who was the main defender of the best wings, and you get Evan Fournier, you're going to have RJ guard that three a lot more. You're going to see him guarding the Paul George, who I think is going to have an MVP type of season without Kawhi.
Right.
Middleton. Randall doesn't really guard KD, so you're going to have to see RJ guarding the KD sometimes, which is going to be a tough matchups for him. So this is really going to be interesting for him. I think that he's going to learn as he goes. And the mentality I want him to have is that if he does get torched a few games by a certain person, he's going to have in his mind that next time they're going to think that it's going to be a free bucket, but I'm going to make it the toughest time that they're going to have. And I think that's one place people need to look at next season where I think he's actually going to prove some people wrong. And I think he's going to become a better defender.
Absolutely. I think it's all there for him, right? Like the last season, Knicks' best defender, that played for the majority of the season was Reggie Bullock. People are really sleeping on the importance of how important Reggie Bullock was on this Knicks defense. I think we're definitely going to miss him. People tend to forget. I keep mentioning the Orlando game when Orlando needed to get that bucket at the end of the game, and they gave the ball to Evan Fournier. Who was it that guarded Evan Fournier and basically took the ball away from Evan Fournier? It was Reggie Bullock. Took the ball away from Evan Fournier and won us that game. So I think the importance of Reggie Bullock on the defensive end is going to be missed, right? And I think there is a hole there at the wing defender, and it's perfect timing for RJ Barrett. The opportunity is there for RJ Barrett to guard the other team's best player, particularly if you look at the fact that with Kemba there now and with Evan Fournier, RJ doesn't have to do the bulk of the scoring, right? That fourth option role, that third option role for RJ Barrett can allow him to become a better defender because he doesn't have to score as much. Right. One thing I do want to highlight, though, Gregory Castillo, you my guy, you my dog.
I read that too.
You my dog, Gary. Josh said RJ is going to be an all-star, only to talk down on him when he doesn't and say he was right. Man, I know the game. Again, it's not true, right? But at the same time, I'm not the only one predicting RJ Barrett to be an all-star. Clyde Frazier was the one who brought up all-star for RJ Barrett. He was the first one to coin the term. And then a lot of people during the season were like, RJ Barrett, next season he's going to be an all-star. Watch. So it's not me. I didn't bring that up. I wasn't the first person to bring up RJ Barrett being an all-star. So don't look at me like,
I mean, you gotta let him say that because of what, like, the things you said before about RJ. You gotta be able to take the stuff they're saying because it kind of makes it seem as if you're hating in a way. I'm not even gonna lie because that's the way I've been feeling sometimes too about some things you say about him. And that's just me being honest. I mean,
listen, I guess, but I'm going to call it like I said. I don't scratch. This is my favorite Denzel line. I don't scratch my head unless it itches, and I don't dance unless I hear some music. I will not be intimidated, all right?
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to say how I feel, but go ahead.
One more thing about the defense. I kind of want to Shout out Guillermo for that too, Legion and Knicks. But um after like we saw the injury that he was injured or questionable and he still played the whole rest of the season. Like you saw that the way he was defending players and the way he was going to the rim was looking a little like stiff. It wasn't looking the best. He was getting killed by Lauri Markkanen. He was getting killed by Luka Doncic, and he usually doesn't really get killed like that by people like that. So I thought that his defense actually got worse, but apparently his perimeter defense actually got better after that injury. And for next season, I'm looking for his interior defense to get better. I think his perimeter defense is always going to stay solid, but I'm really looking for his interior defense around the rim to get better because I don't want people scoring on him as easy as they were last year.
I got you, and that's definitely does need to get better. Particularly if RJ Barrett's going to take that next step, I think that's definitely a part of it as well. I want to highlight one more comment, and this is from Heck Brizo. He says, "And why I think Clyde is bringing it up? He sees it in him. So why the f are you trying to trade him for Ben Simmons?" And I think that's a perfect segue into what we're going into next.
Yes.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this Ben Simmons thing a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And clarify my position on this because people think I just want to go out and trade Ben Simmons. Drake trade for Ben Simmons. We need to get him right now. I think all I'm saying is, and this is what I've been saying, Knicks fans, we got to pick up the phone, right? Because last season, all you heard from everyone, including people in this very chat right now and on Twitter, the Knicks don't have enough talent. They don't have enough talent. They can't do this. They can't do that. They can't compete with those people. Yet you got a guy, 25 years old, who's a 3-time All-Star. No matter what you say about what he didn't do in that Atlanta series, the guy can still play make. He was 12th in the NBA and play and assists last year, right? And he is an elite defender. No question about that. Held Trae Young to 5 for 22 in one of those games and that series, or whatever the case may be. So this guy, granted, he does get paid a lot. And I do think for the amount of money he makes, he does need to become more of a 3-point threat or a jump shot. But at the same time, all the stuff this guy does well trumps what he did not do well in that one series. Okay. And if you can, I'm not sure if you have it, that tweet that was sent out. Yeah. I want to show this because, people, are sleeping on this kid and forget who the heck Ben Simmons really is. Okay. The guy was supposed to be the next LeBron James if he got a jump shot. Right. So, and I think I need to do this, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I just want to put this up here. And this is the tweet that was sent out. I can't really see it. But essentially, look at those numbers right there. That was his first playoff series. And I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen, but the guy was a triple-double, almost a triple-double in his first playoff series ever. You know what I mean? So at 25 years old, I just think there's so much potential there. Yes, he needs to get a jump shot, but guess what? Giannis Antetokounmpo doesn't have a jump shot either. Look at Giannis Antetokounmpo's 3-point numbers and his free throw numbers.
He shoots mid-ranges and he shoots 3-pointers. So
Ben Simmons shoots mid-ranges as well. He doesn't shoot from 3, but he shoots mid-ranges. From the mid-range and in, Ben Simmons can score.
He doesn't shoot from the mid-range. He shot in his mid-range in his summer league in his rookie year and a little in his rookie year, but other than that, he doesn't really actually shoot. Like Giannis does post fadeaways. He shoots from that mid area. Like you saw, he was really confident with that. He's not scared to shoot it anymore. Like you got to shoot it when you're wide open. You got someone like Embiid on your team who's a killer and dominating the paint. But since you can't shoot, you're bringing your defender over to him because you're such a liability from the line.
Well, I think it's a bad pairing between those two. To be honest, I don't think Joel Embiid needs to be playing with Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons needs to have his own team and the offense being built around him. Think about it. When Ben Simmons was hurt the year that not Ben Simmons, but when Joel Embiid was hurt the year that he fractured his orbital bone, the Sixers went 19-1. Ben Simmons led the team in scoring and all those categories. They didn't they only lost one game when Joel Embiid was out. So I think it's the pairing of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid that's the real issue in Philadelphia. I don't think it's Ben Simmons' unwillingness to shoot. Now, you can say that, well, they already paid Joel Embiid the money, so Ben Simmons, you need to adjust to Joel Embiid. You can definitely make that, argument. And no, Ben Simmons is not a Giannis. That's because he has Joel Embiid on the team. I think if you have Joel Embiid and Giannis, you get the similar type of situation. I don't think Giannis is as effective because you have a big guy like Joel Embiid down there. So I think we have to look at it, a few different ways. And listen, about the RJ Barrett thing, RJ Barrett, for me, he's not at a level right now where I can say he's untradeable. I'm sorry. He's not.
But,
I mean, he's not. I mean, listen, you want to talk about potential? This kid is already doing, this kid is already at the potential, man. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you see, I understand that you want to get an all-star, like whatever, like you want to get Ben because he wants to leave. Like Brian Windhorst said yesterday that Ben Simmons doesn't care about his trade value going down because he's not going to training camp. Like I'm not gonna trade for him with RJ and 3 first-round picks. Like you got to look at age also into it. I know whatever he's about to turn 26. He's been an all-star a few times. He has defensive like DPOY skills, and he's a good passer. But at the same time, I don't really think that's exactly what we need for our team.
Ben Simmons is an elite defender. Don't say good.
Yeah,
defender. He's an elite defender. Ben Simmons
I say he's a DPOY candidate, so that kind of does say that he is.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. He's also a pretty good, if not elite, playmaker. Name one thing right now RJ Barrett's elite in.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like age, he's about to be 26, and RJ just turned 21. He got 5 years on him, and RJ also hasn't been as injury prone as him so far. You got to take into account because they're not similar players at all. They're completely different players. So you're taking away someone that could potentially be a bucket getter, a scorer. He's always going to get rebounds for you. I think in general, RJ is an underrated playmaker too, but the defense can also come in. RJ is not a bad defender at all at his age. He's actually a pretty good defender at his age. Trading for Ben Simmons, I just wouldn't see a point for it. I know you're getting playmaking with that and defense, but other than that, like how are you really doing good for the team? That's not a main thing we were really looking at. We were looking at getting scores, getting a point guard that can actually score at the same time as pass. I think we're fine with Kemba right now, and we should just see how the team is now.
Are you saying the Knicks didn't have a playmaking issue last year? Is that what you're saying?
They did, but I'm saying with the addition of Kemba and you got Fournier, you got a little more playmaking. So kind of getting him, I don't know. I don't really see the point of trading RJ. I would not trade RJ for
now listen, I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. Ben Simmons, first and foremost, Ben Simmons doesn't have that much leverage. He's going to try to hold out for as long as he can to get some leverage, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I just don't think it's going to happen. The Knicks already are. I feel like they're content with what they what they were doing. When I made my comment about Ben Simmons, this was prior to the Knicks getting their people already. Right now, the Knicks roster is a little bit set, so I don't think it's going to happen. Could it happen in the future? Absolutely. Maybe you include a Fournier in a trade or something like that. One thing I can tell you is, and I want everyone to understand this. Personally, I don't like the way Ben Simmons is handling this situation, right? I think Ben Simmons, first of all, you signed a $200 million contract for 5 years or whatever it was. The team made a commitment to you, and you made a commitment to the team for 5 years, $200 million, okay? So the team doesn't owe you anything. You signed that contract, and you made that commitment to that team, right? I mean, I know you're talented. I don't feed into the lack of talent narratives, him not shooting under the rim. I don't feed into that. But what I am saying is Ben Simmons, Philly doesn't owe you anything. So they can trade you basically wherever they want. They're going to get the best package available. Let me just say that. And I do think Ben Simmons is coming across as a diva, and that can obviously strike Knicks fans the wrong way. So I get that part of it. But what do you think about that, the way he's handling this whole thing?
I mean, it's a weird at the same time, I get it. And at the same time, you could just see both perspectives at the same time. He's not reporting to training camp. He hasn't talked to his teammates. He probably only talks to Tyrese because I see them doing the runs and whatever like that. But you're not communicating with your teammates, your front office. You're telling them you don't care about your trade value. You're not really doing diligence with your team, and they're the ones paying you like $30 million. You should at least try to get yourself to the team you want instead of just dumping yourself out there. Like he's gonna be taking, his team said that they're fine with taking that $1 million fine in the beginning of not getting into training camp, but You're not I don't know. He's kind of making the process slower than it should be. He probably would have been traded by now to a team probably that is out to get him, like Minnesota or something like that. So I really don't understand the way he's looking at it.
Yeah, he's trying to, build some leverage based on what James Harden and Jimmy Butler did in the past couple seasons. I don't think it's going to work because, the team really doesn't have any, I get it. There's a contract that's there, but it's a long contract, a big contract, and not a lot of teams are going to be willing to take on that money. Not for Ben Simmons. I totally understand that. I do think he's talented. I do think the Knicks can use a player like Ben Simmons. Make no mistake about that. But I do think he's handling it in the wrong way, and I think that they're going to trade him and try to get the best package possible. So that's how I feel about that. And at least if you're the Knicks, I say just pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. You don't gotta entertain a million draft picks and RJ and all that, but at least pick up the phone and see what they're talking about. Particularly if a lot of teams don't inquire about it. I struggle with the fact that Knicks fans don't want to add a player of his caliber. I think he's a really good player, The stats and the accolades don't lie. That's a long
time. I just don't think like we should. To be honest, I don't think we don't got too much to even offer for that with the package they have, and I wouldn't want to trade for him. I don't think he should come to New York. I just don't think it would be a good fit. I think a fit like Minnesota would probably be a lot better. Like he needs to go to Minnesota, the Cavs, some team like that. He needs to go to a team that's full of young guys that have potential. I don't think he's ready to go to a team that's a contender right now because it seems like he wants to rebuild himself in a certain way. That I think he actually will next season. But I'm not looking to trade for him. To be honest, I don't think the Knicks are either.
Well, we will find out and we will see. I'm just hoping the Knicks definitely at least pick up the phone and inquire. Again, we'll see what happens. I think there's still a lot to be said. And again, even with RJ Barrett, we got to see how he improves this season. And because the way we're talking about him now, that can completely change in 1 year. Knicks fans are very short fused, right, so to speak. Yeah. So we can be having a completely different conversation about that next season. What I do want to talk about, though, is, I know, you have your podcast coming up. I know we're about to be coming up to a close right now. So I want you to let everybody know where they can find you, and your podcast and everything like that. So, you got the floor. Just let everybody know where they can find you, bro.
I just started not too long ago. I'll say like a week and a half ago. HadukenSharon's No Life Pod. I'm pretty sure it's in the description right now. We're going to be more active on it towards the beginning of the season, because there's not really too much to talk about now. We got like the main things down, but we're going to have a show, I think later on this week or the beginning of next week. And I'm going to have a few people rank the top 10 shooting guards. And we're all going to go through a list and compare it and see if RJ is on the list for some people, if he's not. And we're basically just going to compare that. So make sure to check it out if you haven't already.
Absolutely. Definitely check out my guy's podcast. I mean, this guy's been around for a very long time. You may have seen him in the chats. Sometimes he goes on a lot of the podcasts, without his video on. It's just a bunch of audio. And you're like, who is this kid talking? Like, what is going on? Like, you know what I mean? But obviously, day one, this dude has been a real constant supporter of Knicks content and content creators. So, everyone definitely go check out my man's podcast, the HadukenSharon's No Life Podcast. The link is in the description. Please like and subscribe and follow my man, because he's a really good content creator for Knicks basketball. Very, very informative. Obviously, he has peach fuzz on his face, so he's young. But this guy knows more basketball than half of y'all out there. I'm saying it right now. You know what I mean? So
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean? So definitely go check out my boy's podcast. And I do want to make one announcement. I did say I was going to make an announcement, prior to the show ending. And basically, I'm gonna put a link in the chat. And what this link is, essentially, I'm calling anyone out there, anyone that wants to debate me in regards to a controversial topic. Inside the chat, there's a link there where you can be able to sign up. We're gonna, reach out to you, or with your information and everything like that. And you put the topic that you want to discuss with me. And if you think you can win, which you're not gonna win, but if you think you can win against me in a debate, the link is in the chat. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna put it in there again. Go in there, fill out that form, submit it, and then we'll catch up with you, and we'll see, if you think you can win a debate against me, because it's not gonna happen. People say that I'm a hater and I have the worst Knick takes. Come on here and prove it. This is your opportunity to prove it against me. We're gonna have these shows every week with someone from the chat. So step your game up. If you think you can win, there's the opportunity. Okay. So a lot of y'all got a lot to say, on Twitter and on YouTube, and there's some haters in here. I'm not gonna say any names, But let's do it. This is the opportunity for you to do so. All right, Hadouken, you got any final words about RJ or about the Knicks and anything like that?
Yeah, you want to do the prediction, like the stats?
Oh yeah, definitely. So my prediction for RJ Barrett, like I said, I think he could leap into All-Star contention this year. I'm gonna say 21 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, or vice versa. 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I'm gonna go with that for RJ Barrett. And I think, with some injuries, I think RJ Barrett can make the All-Star team this year.
Oh yeah, I mean, mine is kind of similar. I've been thinking this for a while. I think like 20, 21 points, 6, 7 rebounds, and then 4 to 5 assists. And I think that's a really good stat line that I think is not too hard for him to get next season. I think it's definitely possible.
And what about percentages? What percentages from the field do you think in the 3-point and free throw?
Kind of like Andy said, because I remember Andy was talking about it before. I think his percentage is going to get better because the spacing he's going to get and the open lanes he's going to have at the rim. I think he's going to shoot like 47, 48% from the field. And since I know he's going to shoot moving shots and like step back 3, stuff like that, I'm looking for him to shoot like at least 37% from 3 because your percentage definitely goes down when you shoot like that.
I got you. Okay. So, I mean, listen, I think that's definitely doable. I'm going to say RJ Barrett, improves his field goal percentage to about 47, 48%, something like that. And his 3-point percentage, I'm going to say he sticks around, 39, 40%. I'm going to say he's going to hit us with that. Okay. And I think that would be enough to get him to the All-Star game. I think, if some injuries happen, a lot of these superstars don't want to play in the All-Star game. They want to have that actual break. So I'm gonna go with those numbers. But I think it's definitely possible. So in the chat, post in the chat and in the comment section what you think about RJ Barrett next season, expectations. We're gonna close it out right now. But Hadouken, you got any last thing you want to say?
Nah, just I'm really excited for next season. I think everyone should be, even more than last season, because I think we have a team that's gonna be really exciting. We got a lot of spacing. We got a lot of people I think that are going to develop this season really well. So I'm definitely excited to see the progress of RJ, Mitch, the young guys, and just see what we do with this team.
Absolutely, no doubt. And with that, we're gonna close it out. I just want to say thank HadukenSharon for coming on to the podcast. Thank everyone out there in the chat for watching. Once again, if you want to debate your boy, if you think you can beat me, I'm inviting you to the podcast. You can debate me here live. Okay, I know a lot of y'all, itching to get into the video, but here's the opportunity to just find that link right there. I'm posting it in the chat again. I'm spamming it, so this is the opportunity for you if you want to debate to get on here. And always, once again, thank you guys. It's been a pleasure giving you this Knick content with my boy HadukenSharon. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Like and subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate it, and I look forward to the next time we do the controversy video. I am gone, ladies and gentlemen. Go Knicks and peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Knick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.